You've just stepped into the Midlife Revolution Unleashed, your space to ignite possibility, redefine purpose, and embrace the power that comes with age and experience. Co-hosted by yours truly, Coach Wayne.
And I'm Coach Stacey M. Lewis. We are two seasoned coaches focused on the midlife community of color. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement. In a world that sometimes forgets the power and the wisdom that comes with age, we are here to ignite a revolution and rewrite the narrative of this incredible journey.
So, whether you're navigating your career, growing your business, rediscovering passions, or challenging the status quo, this is your space. So, buckle up. Let's dive into the Midlife Revolution Unleashed. Hello, everyone. Stacey, good afternoon, mademoiselle. How are you?
I am fine, my dear friend and partner and co-host, Wayne. How are you today?
Doing great. Thank you. And today is the 14th already, halfway through the month of January. And you know what I mean, Stacey?
I do know what you mean. And I will say what we're talking about today is very important as it relates to making the most of our time. Yes, indeed, it is the middle of January, and we want to welcome our listeners and viewers to the Midlife Revolution Unleashed, where tonight we'll be talking about habits. Have you ever stopped to think about those habits that are running your life? That's what we'll be talking about, and how to make or break those habits. I'm Coach Stacey. I'm a nonprofit executive. I'm a midlife women's coach. I am a lover of God and his people. And I'm excited to be here with my co-host and partner in podcasting crime, Sir Wayne. Introduce yourself to the people, Wayne.
Thank you, Stacey. So I'm Coach Wayne, the VIP coach. I help brothers in midlife reimagine their purpose, restore their values, and redefine their identity so that their second half can be their best half. Stacey,
sir,
according to the stats, by the time we get to the halfway through the month as we are now, more than 30% of folks have already thwarted their New Year's resolution. It's gone in the toilet, in the dump. So today we want to talk about things that we can do to make sure that as we move forward, we make it happen. And we're talking about habits.
Absolutely. And what I think is interesting about that fact is that as midlife people, we become really entrenched. We've had many, many years to develop habits, whether they are good or bad. And those habits are now entrenched. And sometimes these patterns, these actions, these activities are really not serving us. And I think what you just said about those resolutions and their lack of longevity in great part is because of the habits that we have, and that thought we haven't really been intentional all the time about, as we embrace or we identify a resolution, what habits we need to both develop and we need to break in order to maintain or build on this new habit. We certainly want to say good evening to Curtis and Delane before we jump into habits. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. What say you, Sir Wayne?
Stacey, we want to help folks understand that habits sometimes creep upon you, knock you over the head, and take over your life. And so we want you to be conscious about these habits and to control and contain them, to prune them if they're not working for you. Because sometimes you may have had a habit that worked for you time in the past, but now it's time to re-examine, reevaluate, and change the course of habits that are no longer serving you. And so today we're going to help folks with strategies to create first of all, to be able to identify some of the sneaky habits that you have, and then strategies to create powerful, useful habits, and also strategies to get rid of the ones that no longer serve you. How about that, Ms. Stacy?
That's action-packed value. That's action-packed value. Let's hit it. What are you
Okay,
thinking about?
let's talk to the folks about why habits stick. And Stacy, there's a habit loop. There's a book, I don't have it in front of me, but James Clear, has this book out, Atomic Habits, and we would refer folks to that book and grab it. It's a bestseller and it's so useful. Mine is all marked up. And there is something he talks and calls a habit loop, which is having a cue that triggers and creates the behavior, and then we get into a routine, right, that rewards us. The behavior rewards us. Let's say, for example, we have a habit of checking our social media in the morning, and it slows us down to get out and get to work. But when we are checking the social media in the morning, we see a lot of likes, and it makes us feel good. We get a rush of endorphins. We feel good about it. That's the reward. So guess what we do tomorrow morning? We check it again, and we may wind up late for work again. But that's just how it works.
Yeah, I think that's also how it doesn't work in our favor, as you're saying. And I'm sure that we can all identify at least one habit that we both want to make or create, and one habit that we want to break. And what I love about this concept of cueing is, or the habit loop, is that, like you said, it's the cue, it's the do the habit, and then it's the reward. So in your example, the reward, right, was that in the endorphins that you might get from the like. But what we can also, another way to look at the reward is, what is the reward that you can give yourself if that's the habit that you want to develop?
Yes.
And I think my one example would be, I wanted to develop the habit of getting on the treadmill. And I made my reward the ability to watch a TV show that I liked while I'm on the treadmill, right? So that I could really start that habit loop in a way that was working to my advantage versus the being late to work because I'm scrolling on social media.
Yes. And that's beautiful, because that's a strategy where we pair the habits. So if, and we'll talk a little bit about it. Let's jump into habits, the laws of habit formation, Stacey, if we may. And the first one that is pointed out is the habit where you create the habit by making it obvious. Let's say, for example, you are on medication and you keep missing it. Well, a good thing to do, and I know that, I take pro and prebiotics. It's not medication every morning. And it's easy for me to remember. Audrey keeps saying, how you remembered yours? Because I leave it out. I leave it out in the morning, right where I can see it, next to the keys. So if I'm getting up to go to the gym, to the park, or just getting up, I'm walking right past it. It stares at me. And so I know it's time to take that.
Yeah, that's your visual cue, right? And then you jump into the loop. You get that cue, you jump into the loop, and you reward yourself by feeling like, yeah, I did what was good for me.
Yeah.
I love it.
And another thing,
go ahead. You go.
Another thing is to make it attractive, right? And again, you want to celebrate wins, but you want to feel good about the thing. So you want to create a piece of the habit and make it somehow excite you. Now, will medicine excite you? Maybe not. But if you had it with your favorite juice, right, and you put the juice out, or know that you're going to take it with a swallow of, whether it's your grapefruit, your orange, whatever you got to do, just make it excite you and encourage you to take that stuff so you can get it out of the way and start the cue rolling.
Yeah, I do like Clear's framework here and really talking about, how to form a habit. And as you're saying, make it obvious, make it attractive. And what's next is make it easy, right? Don't, like you said, don't mean you have to go to the cabinet, get the prebiotics out, put them down, go get some water. Make it easy. Whatever that habit is that you are really looking to form, make it easy. Really facilitate embracing the habit. Maybe it is you like uh, coffee and you want to practice more so um, a sense of gratitude. And so the connection, right? We're going to talk about kind of ways to really promote building good habits, but that connection of like, oh, I really enjoy coffee. Oh, right, that reminds me. I want to just remind God of how thankful I am, and just that's when I'm going to practice my gratitude as I enjoy a delicious cup of coffee.
Yep. So, we want to go to the fitness buffs among us and or among you. And one of the things that is easy to do is if you want to go to the gym, but you're having a hard time putting both feet on the ground to get up and go, you might want to take your gym clothes and sneakers out the day before and make it accessible. Hang it or put it close to you. Sleep with it next to you on the bed, right? So you just have to roll
Right,
into it. Make it easy for you.
right,
And
right.
take away the excuses so that you jump into the habit and start that cue in the circle.
Really building that momentum. And I'm sure many of us do a lot of hard things, right, throughout our day, whether it be in our businesses, on our jobs, in our families. We do a lot of hard things. So let's try something easy in our habit building, right? We can always use an opportunity to do something easy.
Take us into the next one, please, Miss Stacy.
Absolutely, because this is actually my favorite. Wayne didn't know that, but this is my favorite. The favorite is make it satisfying, right? If you are going to form a habit, you're going to make it obvious, you're going to make it attractive, you're going to make it easy, and you're going to make it satisfying. You are going to celebrate those small wins to really reinforce your progress and continue momentum. And it's just like I was talking about the ability to watch that TV show because I was on the treadmill. It really I was like, okay, I get, that means I'll be on the treadmill for 30 minutes watching the show that I really enjoy. It is celebrating the small wins. Then I would step off and feel like, yeah, I did that. Pat, pat, pat. Good for me.
Yeah. And while all this good stuff is happening, I was trying to keep an eye on the folks that were joining on Facebook, but I had my phone on charge, as it were, plugged in, but it wasn't in the charger. And so now my phone is dead. I can't tell. So if you are joining from Facebook, hello there. Welcome.
Hello. That's where Delane is joining us from this evening. So certainly it is working, and we are glad to have you all listening and viewing in with us. So
Stacey, you
let's
talked
start.
about wins just now. I want to
Hmm.
jump on that if you don't mind,
I don't mind.
because when I see clients, one of the things that we do is celebrate. We start off celebrating wins. And you can do this in habits and you can do this in a routine as well. But why is it important? Because too often we take for granted our accomplishments, even if
Mm,
they're tiny. So if we go back to the diet and exercise piece, fitness piece, if you're shooting at losing 10 pounds, but you had a week where you didn't do 10 pounds, which would probably make you weak anyway. But let's say you lost a pound. Isn't it worth celebrating?
absolutely. Not with a cupcake, but it is worth celebrating.
Absolutely. And you should celebrate it. And I like celebrations that it doesn't have to be public, but being public is beautiful because it allows others to join your cheering
Mm-hmm.
squad, your committee, right?
Mm-hmm.
The same way you would ask people. We didn't talk about this, Stacy, but one of the things that's helpful too when you're forming habits is to have someone to help to hold you accountable now. So if you
Absolutely.
were to skip it, they can say in a endearing, kind way, hey, what happened this morning? You didn't show up.
Yeah, I also think, we in our beautiful midlife community, right? We talked about in the very beginning the fact that we're entrenched in a lot of habits. And when we make small strides, we need to celebrate because there is enough of the world, enough of society, enough of our day to day really weighing us down, right? Beating us down, kind of pushing us to the side, marginalizing us, whatever your experience is. And when you know that you are taking on an approach, a habit, building a new habit, um, that will benefit you, that in and of itself is worth celebrating. And so I love that you came back to celebrate the small wins because we definitely need to celebrate more who we are and how we are taking strides to just be a better version, the best version of ourselves.
Yeah. Stacey, we talk about midlife is a place where a lot of people get stuck in a rut.
Mm-hmm.
The comfortability. We are doing this thing, whatever it is, and it's no longer serving us. But the fear is something new is going to be uncertain and scary, right? So we stay in that rut and we get stuck in comfort zone. Let's talk about breaking habits, the things that we would do that keeps us stuck and in a rut.
Yeah. Yeah, the first prong in Clear's approach is to make it invisible. And this is not rocket science. We're really here to add value and to remind us often of things we already know, right? Make it invisible. Delane found that one funny.
Yeah.
I agree with you. One example is, of course, leaving your phone downstairs when you're going to bed upstairs. Not buying the potato chips so that you don't have to take a look at them,
Yeah.
right?
Bring it in the house, your diet is spoiled based on your shopping cart. If you
Right.
didn't buy it, you won't be eating it. So leave it in the shelves or on the
leave,
shelf.
leave it in the store. Remove those triggers, right? Make it invisible.
How about making it unattractive, Stacey? And
Mm.
these are just the flip side and opposites to the ones we had to create
Mhm.
the habits in the
Mhm.
first. You want to make it unattractive if you want to break the habit. So that might look like, you know, even in the mind, reframing the thing that you would normally find attractive and do, just have a negative affirmation, as it were, a
Mhm.
different
Mhm.
way of reframing it. So it's no longer appealing to you. If, for example, you're going to have that big old nice chocolate cake that usually, turns you on, start seeing the chocolate cake in front of that scale and the scale just moving up. And yeah,
That is definitely one one way to do it, right? You see the chocolate cake and the scale moving up. Chocolate cake scale, chocolate cake scale. I
yep,
like it. That definitely makes it unattractive, or really reframes that negative, right? That we want to make sure that we are taking actions that are benefiting us. And I was all of a sudden I started reflecting on the fact that I used to smoke a long time ago, cigarettes. And the
that's
way
what you're
this
telling
may not
us.
work, but I'm just saying, I'm gonna keep tell the truth. What worked for me may not work for everyone, but what worked for me was the way I made it unattractive was I actually had a cigarette when I did not want one. And so it just became more and more of a turnoff or a taste that was not appealing because I really didn't want it. But I was like, no, you're not going to have a cigarette when you want it. You're going to have a cigarette when you don't want it. And that worked for me. So that was my way of making it unattractive, right? And so I love, like, reframing the negative is one way to say it, but it's really making it unattractive.
So when I was in the hotel industry, part of the thing was to have these games, crazy games with the tourists. It was an all-inclusive, and they had drinking games. I was never one who had an affinity for drinking, but I would participate in these beer pongs and other drinking games. And what stopped me from making it a habit, so I was never tempted to be a lover of alcohol, is I would always think about people that I saw throwing up on themselves and looking yucky, right? I couldn't imagine myself being that guy,
Yeah.
and just stayed away from it.
Yes, that makes it very unattractive, Wayne. Thank you for sharing that. Let's move
See,
on.
there
We're going
is
to move on to.
making it difficult. And we talked about getting up in the morning and start searching social media. But what if you turned off social media, or, like you said, leave the phone out of the bedroom in the nighttime? So in the morning, you get up and do other things like wash your face, brush your teeth, take a shower, drink some water before you even touch the phone. Just make it difficult to break out of that morning routine with a habit that's maybe not serving you.
Yeah, I like kind of bridging the two, right? And just thinking about water. A lot of us are just not drinking enough water, right? And we want to build that habit of drinking enough water. And so maybe one connection there is, before I pick up the phone, I'm going to have a glass of water.
Mm-hmm.
So what you want to do is pick up the phone, and you want to build this good habit association.
Yeah, that's right. So you kind of pair it again with something. Yeah.
Yeah, the
How about
last part of that is that make it unsatisfying, creating those accountability systems, right? Because nothing is worse than when you connect with your accountability partner and you have to say that, yeah, I didn't keep my word, or I didn't practice that habit building activity or habit breaking activity in the way I gave my word I would.
Yeah. And Stacey, when we talk about some of the strategies around this, especially for midlifers, we give names to these things. We call habit stacking, for example, where you have one small habit that you have pretty much garnered or cornered, and you add the new habit to that habit. We talked about, for example, going to the gym, right? If there is something that you're accustomed to doing before you go to the gym and something that you enjoy doing, then you just add one after the other to make it seamless and easy.
Absolutely.
On a weekend, for example, Stacey, I go wash the car. And if that's a routine in my life, then I could just dress in my gym clothes and go wash the car, and then I'll be stacking the other habit to make it easy to do.
I like that example. Yeah. I think, there are many ways to habit stack, and it's really thinking about the habits. It's identifying the good habits that you have, identifying the not so good habits that you have, and looking at opportunities to bring the two together in a way that bolsters better habits. So you're having that morning cup of coffee, you want to work on your goals for the day, associate that habit of working on your goals with enjoying that cup of coffee. You all can tell there's something about me and the coffee tonight. I think it's because I'm fasting, so I haven't been having coffee the way I usually do. So forgive me for all of the coffee anecdotes.
No, Audrey had a major headache yesterday from her coffee withdrawal in her fasting as well, Stacey.
It's a real
Uh,
thing.
yeah. Hey, so there's another one. How about utilizing our own rhythm of energy, peak energy
Mhm.
time, right? So if you
Yeah.
want to take a walk or go running, you don't want to do this at 7 at night if you're an early to bed person, right? You want to do this first thing in the morning if you can, or at a time early in the afternoon when you're still at peak in terms of energy. That way, there are no excuses. You got what you need, fuel in your tank.
Absolutely. Spend some time being intentional about identifying even when your peak energy time of the day is. Sometimes, we're just so caught up in our own day to day that we forget that we know ourselves really well. And we know, if we pay attention, when our best energy is. And there are, some things, some habits I'd really like to develop, like that early morning prayer. And yet, for me, 5:30 a.m. is just, it's not my prime time. Y'all pray for me. So it really is identifying when your peak time is, knowing and loving and accepting yourself as you are, and saying, you know what, my best time of the day is 10 to 2. And therefore, I'm going to rock it out between 10 to 2. These are the things I'm going to do and the things I'm going to focus on to leverage my peak energy time. And hello, Thamar. I hope that I'm saying your name correctly.
Hey,
Welcome to the
Lady
Midlife
Tamar,
Revolution.
place. That's my sister from up north. Tamar, how are you, Coach Tamar?
Welcome, Coach Tamar. Good to have you. Good to have you.
Tune in. Stacy, you can get over the morning early prayer by
Mhm.
asking Alexa to pray for you.
Asking something is wrong with you. Okay, clearly Wayne needs prayer too.
folks, folks are so tuned into Alexa these days.
I
I
am
would be
not
surprised.
asking Alexa to, no, thank you. And I'm glad that mine is unplugged. So she did not respond. Let's encourage our audience as a strategy to audit your habits. Literally audit your habits. Anybody that's been through any kind of audit knows that the auditor comes in and they look at everything. Audit your daytime habits, your nighttime habits, your on the job habits, your weekend habits. Really start to look at what habits are helping you and what habits are hindering you.
Stacy, in the minutes that we have, and we probably will bump over a little bit today with
Mhm.
the permission of our audience, let's go into the practical actions that our listeners can take um, starting today in terms of
Okay.
working on pruning old habits that don't help and training themselves for new habits that's going to be powerful and
Mhm.
positive. So we talked about anchoring one new habit, and that's attaching to your habit something that's powerful and useful. It can be with the habit you anchor prayer time if that's what you do
Mhm.
with your new habit, or a gratitude practice. It's just something positive, but anchor your new habit to that. So as you get up to do your stretches and yoga in the morning, have it attached to your gratitude in the morning routine.
Yeah, the thing about anchoring is really, especially if you've done that audit of your habits, right? Is saying, okay, these are really the habits that I like, that are fueling me, that are moving me forward. And for those that you want to form, those good habits that you want to form, really attaching to those good habits that you have already formed, so that you don't feel like you are giving up something, but that you're really gaining something. And so that example of, of the coffee and the gratitude time, or the gym and the gratitude time, or the prayer time, right? Because you can pray at any time. So whatever that habit is that you're really looking to build, to really anchor it in a habit that is a good one.
And I like this one, Stacy.
Mm-hmm.
It's aligning uh, a habit to what we call the 2 minute rule. That is, if you
Mm-hmm.
can do it in 2 minutes, get it done. For example, um, one push up with writing a paragraph for your book. Let's, so if you're trying to get through, today I was listening to the Pomora strategy, which
Mm-hmm.
is where you want to work, right? This is for time management, but where you want to work in spurts of say 25 minutes, take a 5 minute break, and then you go back. Well, in that 5 minute break, you could
Mm-hmm.
align yourself to a new habit. So while you're on the break and doing your breathing exercises or something, you are also, doing your push up or your yoga stretches. The idea is to make it pleasant and tie it into something else. And if it can be done in 2 minutes, get it done now, not to postpone or put it off.
Yeah, I like the 2 minute rule as well. And I remember being in a conversation with someone, and she called it snack on it. And her idea was that um, as opposed to, as you're talking about, carving out that 30 minutes for the gym every day. Some of us just don't have it. And so her idea of snack on it was indeed like, well, then, for 2 minutes or while I'm standing in line at the grocery store, I'm going to snack on it. I'm going to do arm circles, or I'm
Nice.
going to, just do some leg lifts, some knee lifts while I'm standing in line, so that when you have those opportunities to practice the habit that you really want to embrace, to really don't discount the 2 minutes that you might have while standing in line at the grocery store.
Yeah. And it's good to remind folks, Stacy, that one step at a time.
One step at a time.
One step
One
at a
step
time.
at a time.
Start small
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
count your wins. You know, share it with someone who is an accountable partner that
Yes. Yes.
is cheering you on.
And
Stacy,
track your progress.
track it. You got to track it to know that
Right.
you're making progress or not.
Right.
Stacy, how do folks reach the wonderful Stacy to get some great coaching?
Well, I appreciate that, Wayne. I can always be reached at thestacymlewis.com. Many of you I'm connected with on LinkedIn or Facebook. Please don't hesitate to DM me or hit me up, but just be connected. I try to share value throughout my posts, and my hope is that, I can add to your day, to your week, something of value. Wayne, how do the folks reach you?
Well, Stacy, they can get me at my site or just choose to go in my DM. And let me just say this, Stacy. I know there we're showing where I'm going to be offering a free course, but I wanted to say something else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gifting a free session to folks. And I would say the first 10 folks this season, and I've already started that list, that
Nice.
would like to have a free coaching session with me, 1 hour to work on any issue you want. I'm gifting that to you. I believe in karma, so it's going to come back. And if you like the results, then we can talk about moving further. So reach out to me for that gifted session.
Absolutely. I mean, free coaching is valuable, especially if it's good coaching. And something about this gentleman here I know is offering good coaching. I've seen some of those testimonials and encourage those of you interested. He said it's complimentary. So, and a free coaching. Come on, let's use wisdom. Ooh, scripture.
Thank you.
Indeed, absolutely. And you want to tell folks about your course as well?
Oh, yeah. There's a coach 10 session video course that I'm offering. It's Break Free, Discover Your Power, Purpose, and Prosperity in Midlife. And
Love it.
folks, go in there and change around your outcome, please.
Love it.
Stacy,
Love it.
we're out of here.
I believe so. Before we're out of here, we want to certainly thank everyone that has taken the opportunity to listen in, to view in, to catch the replay. You are the Midlife Revolution. and we are all now unleashed. We want to thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for commenting. Please share, like, subscribe, all those beautiful things. But know that you are appreciated, and Wayne and I's heart's desire is really to be of service. So if indeed you take the opportunity to connect with us, we believe that you will not regret it. So
now
Wayne,
you know.
it's a pleasure.
So now you know. Tell a brother or a sister.
Peace out, everybody. God bless.
And there you have it, folks. This week's episode of the Midlife Revolution Unleashed. Hey, we truly appreciate your spending this time in this space with us. Join us next week at the same time as we dive into relevant topics and present solutions to spark new thinking and empower your midlife journey.
And don't forget, if you enjoyed today's episode, let us know in the comments and share it with others. And of course, remember to subscribe, share, like, hit that notification bell. You are the Midlife Revolution Unleashed. I'm Coach Stacy, and I'm cheering you on.
And I'm Coach Wayne, and I'll see you at the top.